Okay, Mrs. Greer, do you want to take attendance to see if we have a quorum?
Greg Lazaro,
Present.
Lou Ferrara,
Present.
Dave Delaney,
Here.
Tom Seneca,
Present.
Nick Beretta,
Present.
Okay, I'd like to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance and give a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start tonight, I'd like to welcome Mr. Lou Ferrara and Tom Rosica as new members of this board. So welcome. And I wish us all a good year. Under C, on the reorganizational meeting, we have appointments. We have a few things to talk about that have to do with personnel, so I'm going to move that we go into executive session for that. So I move to go into executive session. Personnel matters. I need a second on that. Is there discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Seeing the number of people here, we will leave and go to my office to do the executive session. Okay, we're back in regular session. I'm making a motion that we come back into executive session. I need a second on that.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I'm going to make a series of appointments. I'm going to make the motion. I'll need a second, then ask for discussion. If there is none, I'm going to move to a vote, and then we vote. I'm going to go by the individual appointments. I move to appoint Pat Morrell as town attorney for the year 2017.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. For our environmental attorney, I move to approve Boylan Code as a law firm for our environmental attorneys for the year 2017.
Second that.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now, there's 3 deputy town clerks, and those are appointed by Nikki, but we have to approve them. The first deputy town clerk is a vacant position, although it is in the budget. The second deputy town clerk, I move to appoint Kathy Langford as deputy town clerk for the year 2017.
Second it.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Our third deputy town clerk will be Linda Marzan, so I'll move to appoint Linda Marzan as our deputy town clerk tax collector. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The 3 court clerks that have been recommended to us, I'm going to batch these. So the 3, I move to appoint Megan Langley, Debbie Rogers, and Ashley Van Doren as court clerks for the year 2017.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. For the deputy supervisor, I move to appoint Vic Peretta as deputy supervisor of the town of Seneca Falls for the year 2017.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. For the deputy highway superintendent, I move to appoint Timothy Pagano for the deputy highway superintendent for the year 2017.
Second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Assistant to the Zoning Officer, I move to approve Nicoletta J. Greer as the Assistant to the Zoning Officer for the year 2017.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Secretary to Planning and Zoning Boards, I move to approve Kathy Langford to Secretary to Planning and Zoning Boards for the year 2017.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Registrar of Vital Statistics, I move to approve Nicoletta J. Greer as Registrar of Vital Statistics for the year 2017. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics, Catherine Langford. I move to approve Catherine Langford as the Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics for the year 2017.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Records Management Officer, I move to approve Nicoletta J. Greer as Records Management Officer for the year 2017.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Dog Control Officer, I move to approve Dalen Jenkins as a Dog Control Officer for the year 2017 in the town of Seneca Falls.
Second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The Nuisance and Animal Control Officer will remain vacant at this point. If we need one, we'll probably call another town and utilize their Nuisance Animal Control Officer. Members of Recreation Committee, I'm going to batch this because there are two alternates. The alternates are Jerry Anderson and Angela Reardon. I move to approve as alternates for the Recreation Commission, Jerry Anderson and Angela Reardon for the year 2017.
Second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve as ex-officiary to the Recreation Commission, Stuart Peenstra for the year 2017.
I'll
Second
second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Member of the Planning Board, I move to approve Mary Kelleher as member of the Planning Board for the year 2017. How long of a term is that, Nikki? With that?
5 years.
Oh, that's a 5-year term.
It's a reappointment.
That's a reappointment. And that's a 5-year term. So she'll be reappointed to a 5-year term. So the motion is to appoint Mary Kelleher to a 5-year term as a member of the Planning Board in the year beginning 2017 to 2022. Right? Yep.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. How about the alternate members?
They're only appointed for 1 year.
Okay. So I move to approve Francis Brady as an alternate member of the Planning Board for the year 2017.
Second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. A member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, that will remain vacant at this time. If anyone is interested, please send a letter to Ms. Nicoletta Greer, and she will be putting an ad in the paper about that also. As the alternate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, I move to approve Frank DeJohn.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The second position there is vacant, so please, again, there'll be an ad in the newspaper, but if you're interested, send a letter to Ms. Nicoletta Greer. I move to approve Paul Richard Foote as a member of the Heritage Preservation Commission in 2017. And what how long of a term is that?
I believe they're 5-year terms, too.
For a 5-year term?
We also have vacancy on that board.
Okay.
I'll second it.
So that, a 5-year term commencing in 2017. It's been seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. There's also a vacancy on that committee, and that'll be placed in the paper. And if you're interested, if anyone's interested, write a letter to Mrs. Greer. For the Cemetery Commission, how long is that term? 5 years. I move to approve Sue Savangerl to a member of the Cemetery Commission for an appointment of 5 years, commencing in 2017.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The Town Historian, that's a 1-year term? Yeah, that's a 1-year term. I move to approve Fran
Second.
Barberi for a 1-year term. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
First, is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I move to approve Barton and Judas as our town engineering firm for the year 2017.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the Bonadero Group as our town auditors for the year 2017.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve as our meeting date as our regular meeting date each month, as the first Tuesday at each month, commencing at 7:00 p.m. unless otherwise posted in the newspaper. That's the motion.
Second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the following banks as our banks for Seneca Falls: Community Bank, Five Star Bank, M&T Bank, First Niagara Bank, and Lions National Bank.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the Revelry Between the Lakes as our official town newspaper for the town of Seneca Falls for the year 2017.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. For the mileage rate, I move to approve the current IRS mileage rate at 53.5 cents per mile for the mileage rate, unless that's changed sometime during the year by the federal government, for the year 2017 at a rate of 53.5 cents per mile.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Again, we base that on the federal government, and if that is changed during the year, we will be addressing that when appropriate. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I make a motion to approve to adopt the procurement policy for 2017. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Committee assignments, and those are board committee assignments. I've handed you each a list of the committees. Please get back to me within a week, and then they'll be, I'll decide on the committee assignments and send them out, and they'll be posted on our website. So, okay, now we'll go to number 2, regular meeting. A, petitioners. Our first petitioner is Dan Babbitt. Remember, we have approximately 3 minutes to speak, and I will be keeping time on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, board members, congratulations on the award.
No, I don't really need a mic, but I'll use it anyway. Evening, I'm Dan Babbitt from Seneca Falls. And the topic is in the matter of Cypress Creek Renewables, proposed solar energy utility in Seneca Falls, New York. Cypress Creek Renewables applied for a special use permit to install a solar energy farm at 2762 Route 318 in the town of Seneca Falls, New York. The proposed farm would be located in the A1 zoning district, which would be Agricultural 1. It would be operated as a small utility, producing an estimated 2 megawatts of power. New York State Electric and Gas classifies small utilities as producing between 2 and 20 megawatts. Additional information is needed to clarify whether the applicant plans to develop 1 or 2 adjacent parcels for up to 4 megawatts of energy production based on applicant's statements at the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting on 8th of December 2016. New York State Real Property Tax Law Section 487 provides for an automatic 15-year exemption from real property taxation for the increase in value resulting from the installation of a qualifying system such as a solar farm proposed by Cypress Creek Renewables. The law also provides the local municipality, in this case the town of Seneca Falls, a preemptive right to either opt out of the exemption, causing the entire value of the improvement to be taxable, or to exercise the right to negotiate payments in lieu of taxes, pilots, during the exemption period. The advantage of pilots is that they can be any amount up to but not exceeding the maximum tax due under the opt-out provision. In order to commence the process of engaging with Cypress Creek Renewables to negotiate pilots, it will be necessary for the town board to pass a resolution declaring its requirement to negotiate pilots with Cypress Creek Renewables and notifying them of it within 60 days of Cypress Creek Renewables notice to the town of its intention to install or build the utility in order for the town not to opt out of the property tax exemption. The date on the application for a zoning permit was November 15th, 2016. However, Patrick Morrell, Esquire, should advise the board on the legal date of the applicant's notification to the town. It would be prudent to consider pilots over the 15-year period the exemption would be in effect. To attract business, the board may want to consider a suggested pilot level of 65%, certainly it's your choice, of the taxable value of the proposed improvements to the land for the solar farm installation. This would show a willingness to invest in the town's future industrial development and partner with an experienced energy provider. The experience gained from a partnership of this type could be assimilated into a strategic plan to identify a combination of local assets that could be packaged with a clean power source for prospective industrial parks in the town of Seneca Falls.
You had 3.5 minutes.
I'm sorry. I got one paragraph.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Coordinating with the Empire State Development, the Seneca Falls Local Development Corporation, and interested parties should be beneficial. Please call for a motion to resolve that the town supervisor be authorized to contact Cypress Creek Renewables, notifying them of the town's intentions to require negotiations of pilots prior to the 60-day trigger of the property tax exemption under Real Property Tax Section 487. Thank you. Sorry for the overtime.
And the only thing I'm asking you to write and send an email to each town board member, sending it to me, copying in each town board member of your proposal, and then I'll discuss that more thoroughly with the attorney, and we'll go from there. If we have to have a special meeting to approve this or disapprove it or discuss it in public, we will do that.
I believe everybody had a copy of this. Do
Okay.
you want more than this?
Okay. If you have anything to add, yes.
If I think of it, I will.
Okay.
Otherwise, I believe
I'll
it.
be discussing it with the town
Otherwise, I guess you
attorney.
better discuss it with the guy next to you.
Yeah, otherwise, if I could address it for a moment, this application was in front of the planning board and the zoning board at their last meeting, second week in December, I believe we were there. And at any rate, at that time, the notice that is required, the notice from the town to them was given that I informed that the town did intend to seek a pilot. The specifics are not, is something that is going to have to be worked out with this board. But as far as the timeline and the statute, that's all been satisfied at this point. So the town is in a position to require a pilot if you wish to. If you want to allow the exemption to go forward, you can do that too. And there's a lot of area in between. So we can, more specifics to follow, and we'll have to work that out with this board going forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Our next petitioner is Robert McGill.
I was going to let Peter use up some of my time, but he used up too much. I'm Robert L. McGill, Jr. from Waterloo, New York. I moved here in 1956. My father was a World War II veteran, and he disappeared in 1957. So I was brought up rather during financial hard times, and my mother taught me a very important lesson. And that lesson was, beggars can't be choosers. It seems to me that there are a number of people in this town that are counting on the casino and tourism and the wine industry to support this town forever. I do not believe that is a realistic idea or a goal. It's a proven fact that 85% of the jobs in this country were not lost to overseas countries, but they were lost to automation. And automation is going to cost this country even more jobs in the future. And one of the issues that I have, I trained employees 30 years ago, numerous employees, and 1 out of 10 might make it. And today, I'm guessing maybe 1 out of 20. Our school systems are not preparing the kids for today's technology. Not everybody can be a rocket scientist or a college professor or a school teacher. Some people have to work with their hands and become skilled tradesmen. And I have found that our children are not prepared for it at all. One of the things that I find very interesting is the city of Geneva has been told numerous times that their zoning laws and building codes are too prohibitive and they're a deterrent to growth and business. And this town seems to be following the same route as Geneva has. There has to come a point in time where you compromise, that you allow things that some people consider undesirable. And what I see is the silent majority really has not spoke. They are still silent. You have a very vocal minority running this town, and you have to somehow differentiate from truth, rumor, speculation, possibilities, could-bes. I hear those terms too many times in presentations to this board. It's a possible threat. It could this, it could that, it could do a lot of things. It's up to the board to determine what is fact and what is fiction. And I think that the town will probably have a much more wonderful life if they're a little more cooperative with other businesses that some people consider undesirable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGill.
And I want to tell you, numerous communities are having problems with their casinos. That means they're falling domestic disputes, crime of all kinds. That casino is not going to do anything to St. Paul except to slow you down.
Thank you, sir. Our next petitioner is Valerie Sandless, and she's going to speak on the future of Seneca Falls.
I'm Valerie Sandless. My husband and I and my daughter live at 2 Greenbelt Circle in Seneca Falls, and I'm here tonight to discuss the future of Seneca Falls. First, I'd like to thank Dave and Vic, along with Annette and Mary, for enacting Local Law 3 and giving our town a trash-free future. Your foresight and vision for our town is greatly appreciated. And it's a true indication of the strength you have to defy adversity and do the right thing. I only wish I could say the same. I only wish our supervisor could share your vision and strength. Greg, I'm deeply disappointed in the lack of leadership skills that you have shown recently. Walking out of the local law public hearing was unprofessional and inexcusable. This was unequivocally the most significant issue that you, as our town supervisor, had to deal with since you were elected. Yet, you chose to leave the hearing, thus neglecting to listen to your citizens. You are the town supervisor. Whether you agree or not with the issues at hand, it is your duty to lead. When you abandon adversarial issues, you abandon the people of Seneca Falls. Greg, we need a strong leader. Our future depends upon it. For that reason, I'm asking you to step up and lead or step down.
Thank you for your comments. Our next petitioner is Jim Sandless, future Seneca Falls.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for your service. Hope we get off to a good 2017. I have a few fiscal questions for the Board that hopefully Board members can look into the future. At the last Board meeting, the Board took a vote to write off $300,000 for an uncollectible water bill. How does that happen? Is that a commercial water bill? And if so, how could you not shut the water off? Who is monitoring that? $300,000 of an uncollectible written off. I don't understand. I have three other questions. My understanding that the landfill has not paid its leachate bill for 2016 and that the bill was not prepared in a timely fashion. My understanding that the sewer connection at the Petro station that's over 2 years old has never been billed and is unpaid. My understanding that water sold to the town of Fayette has no rate set and therefore is never paid for. These are questions of fiscal irresponsibility, if true. I would like the Board to investigate. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Mr. Doug Avery, and you're going to speak about the Seneca Falls Environment Action Committee.
My name is Doug Avery. My wife and I live at 54 Cayuga Street here in Seneca Falls. My purpose in speaking tonight is to introduce you to the Seneca Falls Environmental Action Committee. The committee has come together over the past several months as the debate regarding Seneca Meadows and Local Law 3 intensified. While there are no residency requirements for participation, the steering committee is made up entirely of Seneca Falls residents. Myself, Valerie Sandless, Jan LaValle, and Brad Jones. My message tonight has two parts. The first is to reaffirm our support for Local Law 3 as legislation that mandates closure of Seneca Meadows no later than December 31st, 2025, and protects us from the creation of other landfills within our town. Included in that support is the assurance that we will continue to monitor the actions of the town board, the town supervisor, and Seneca Meadows as we move together toward the day when Seneca Falls is finally landfill free. We plan to support the effort on the Seneca County Board of Supervisors to pass its own protective legislation. We intend to press the DEC to tailor any permit renewal to match the closure date spelled out in Local Law 3. If it becomes evident that Seneca Meadows cannot find a solution to the odor issues, we will campaign to have the DEC issue permit renewals in short increments. The second part of my message is to offer our voices and our energy to the conversation regarding how Seneca Falls moves into that post-landfill era. This includes planning for the time when payments specified in the host community agreement cease. There are members of our committee with significant experience with fiscal issues. They're willing to help. It also includes assisting with environmental issues not specific to Seneca Meadows, how to encourage greater participation in the town's recycling program, volunteering to serve on committees regarding waste management, water and sewer infrastructure, and helping to protect all our valuable natural resources. If handled correctly, passage of Local Law 3 will mark the beginning of a renaissance in the town of Seneca Falls. There's tremendous enthusiasm among citizens and businesses thrilled at the prospect of finally being out from under the landfill's shadow. The Seneca Falls Environmental Action Committee offers, collectively and as individuals, to do anything they can to support that renewal. Thank you.
Our last petitioner is, it was supposed to be Sandra Gary, but John is filling in for her. Mr. Gary.
I live at 7 Tullochs Drive in Seneca Falls, New York, with my wife, Sandra. Basically, what I heard is that Doug made a point about something that I thought was really right on, and I guess I would second that. But I want to tell you a little bit of a story. I had a visitor on the 27th of December, Mr. Kyle Black. Kyle Black came to my house. We had a horrible odor that greeted my son, who was up visiting from New York. He opened the door, walked outside, and the odor just permeated my house, kind of like a skunk would be in the summertime. And when Kyle showed up, I didn't know that he was coming. I normally see a yellow shirt when we call in odor issues to the Seneca Falls, Seneca Meadows hotline. And basically somebody with the yellow vest shows up, and they normally can't smell anything. This particular day, Kyle said, "Yep, we've got a problem. When the wind blows, the odor cannot be controlled." And that got me to thinking. Well, he explained the process. Basically, every morning at 5:30, Kyle said that they uncover the pre-existing trash containers, and that's when the odor from the previous trash dumps permeates the air. If they don't have a atomizer to get that odor out of the air, it goes to tire. I noticed that the previous day. If it goes from west to east, it comes to my house, Val Sandlis's house, to my neighbors that we live in Seneca Falls. And basically what happens is I got to thinking about it. I said, what can be done about the odor? Kyle says nothing if the wind is blowing above 15 miles an hour. And I know, I guess I've heard, that y'all have a host agreement that's being negotiated with Seneca Meadows. I never see a report on one of those yellow sheets that says, here's where we are on the host agreement. There's nobody on this audience or this group of people that is responsible for the host agreement. You 5 are. Does the host agreement say that if the wind is above 15 miles an hour, which it was that day, Kyle can't open for business? So basically we've got to send the workers home, and Seneca Falls is minus the odor. If there isn't that contingency written into the host agreement, I petition the board to add that to the host agreement. If you can't be responsible for that, I think you are representing Seneca County on the Seneca County board. Maybe somebody from Seneca County would take this up as an issue for this Seneca Meadows problem. Time after time, Kyle's explained to me, I can't do anything about the odor. We're working on it. Well, if you can't do anything about the odor, and the wind is blowing the odor at my house, inside of my house, for a long period of time, I request that they not open the dump for that day. And I guess the other thing is it's like, where do we stand on the host agreement? They're not in compliance. Is there financial ramifications from not dealing with the odor? Is that where we stand with the host agreement? Who gives a report in this group, this DS, that says this is where we are with the host agreement? Or is all of a sudden it's just going to, we have a new host agreement, but nobody knows what's in it? That's it.
Okay, Mr. Gary, just one suggestion, and I suggest that you take your concerns up with the County Board of Supervisors also. I will discuss your issues with the other two county board members, but you know, there's a petition, there's a petitioner's time also there, and it has been discussed, and so we will be discussing it, but feel free to come up there as a petitioner.
They're complaining to you, I read in the notes, that they're complaining to you about the order. I'm coming to you and I'm complaining about the order. If we've got a list of something else.
Okay, moving on to approval of minutes under number 3. I'm going to batch these. I move to approve the budget workshop minutes of November 7th, 2016, the budget workshop minutes of November 10th, 2016, the special meeting on November 18th, 2016, the public hearing on November 30th, 2016, and the regular monthly meeting in December 6th, 2016. I have a second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We have reports here. I move to approve the door control officer report.
There is no report.
The-
Didn't get
Oh,
it.
she did it?
I don't see one.
There we go, it's no.
Okay, so there isn't a report. Okay, zoning officer. This is the one we have. Okay. I move to approve the zoning officer report.
Second that.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation report. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the Highway Superintendent report.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Greg. Just like to say that all the Christmas decorations were taken down today, so they're all done. We do have a problem with some of the street lights around town. There's about 30, 35 of them out. I've been in touch with NICEC. For the last 2 months, and they said it might be 2 months more before they can get at it to fix these lights, just so people know. The other thing is I've had a lot of complaints about these garbage totes. People are putting in, well, Cardinal's got a contract with us saying that all garbage or refuse has to go in garbage bags when they put them in these totes, and that's not happening. A lot of people are just throwing papers in there when the garbage man picks them up. He goes to dump them, the wind's blowing, and they blow all over the town. So I don't know if maybe the board wants to send out a mailing to these people and say if you're going to put garbage in there, to put it in garbage bags. Because I did get 3 or 4 complaints with all this wind that we've had. Other than that, that should do it on my end.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more discussion on that? How do you think we should handle with Mr. Peterson?
What he said, maybe Nikki can put in the paper. And I'm sure Dave Shaw will have something in the Finger Lakes Times
We'll put some on the website.
website.
Okay. Okay, all in favor of that report?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the assessors report.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Attorney for the town, Mr. Morel, you have anything to report on?
Yes, first I would like to thank the board for my reappointment, so thank you all. And secondly, upon meeting with our highway superintendent earlier today, he has received a excavation permit from NYSEG. It is a standard yearly permit that they ask for, and so I'm going to ask that the board adopt a resolution authorizing the supervisor to authorize the supervisor to enter into this permit for NYSEG. What it does is simply allows them to do their utility work in the town's rights of way along our roadways, and also requires them to, after the work is completed, to bring it back to the state it was prior to doing the work. So we can ask for that. I'll ask for that resolution. We can do that now, or we can do it later in new business, however you like to.
We can do it under new business.
Okay.
Okay?
So yes, that would be my report for this evening.
Okay. Move to approve town attorney's report. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the town justice's report.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the water and sewer report.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to approve the police chief's report.
Second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Are there any committee reports?
Some in the packet. Make a motion to approve the committee reports that we have in our packet. I thought there was one there. I guess not, I'm staying.
Okay. Under communications, I move to approve all communications that were received and filed on January 3rd, 2016.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Old business, sale of condominium and surplus properties.
So that is ongoing. I've been in contact with the town has arranged for purchases of a property at 10 Fall Street as well as 60 State Street. I've been in getting together with the purchases on each of those properties and to get that moving forward. It's my understanding that the last I had contact with the purchasers of 10 Fall Street, they were looking forward to completing their purchase of 2 Fall Street, the old Seneca Falls Hospital building. So that is, I have not been in touch since before the holidays, but it's my understanding that that has happened, and that kind of smooths the way to proceed on 10 Fall. And then also, those two issues go hand in hand with the town moving into the new facility. So the sooner that can happen, the sooner all of these things can fall into place.
Any write-off on uncollectible receivables?
I'm going to ask that that be carried to next month.
Under C, Route 414 sewer line transfer.
And the same, I expect that that would be completed by next month. That is the matter with the sewer line, the Petro sewer line that's been in place there for 12 years now, and they want to transfer the line from the IDA to the town. So that's in process. So
All our easements are done?
Yep.
Good.
Both here and in the town of Tyre.
Annual renewal SMI permit.
Yeah, so there was, well, you will recall there was a letter that went to Seneca Meadows regarding the permit, and in that letter, we addressed that the permit was not being issued due to the odor issue from last year. And then, of course, through the discussion of the odor issue, Seneca Meadows explained that they have undertaken a very large odor mitigation project. So what the letter that went out, what that said was, upon completion of the project, notify the town. We would like a chance to inspect the project, the operation, and its efficacy, and ensure that it is all working. And if it is working, the board will consider issuing the permit at that time. But until that is completed, we're still in the process of having this project being done to address that issue. So that's where that stands. So I'm going to ask that also be carried forward pending the completion of that project.
Okay, thank you. Under new business, I make a motion to authorize the town supervisor to invest town monies.
Done that in the past? Every year.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. For the Association for Towns, last year during budget cycle, we decided to send 2 people to the Associations for Town meetings, which is during President's Week, I believe, Nikki. And each year we have to appoint a delegate, an alternate delegate. The 2 people who we said would be going to that Association of Towns meeting were the 2 board members. So the 2 board members are Lou Ferrara and Tom. So I'm going to make a motion to appoint Lou as delegate and Thomas Ruzicka as alternate delegate. You have to make a decision on whether you want to attend this meeting, and then at this point I'm going to make that motion, but let Nikki know whether you want to attend or not. Look at your schedules, and if you want to attend, then those appointments will be held. So the delegate will be Lou Ferrara, the alternate delegate will be Tom Ruzicka. That's a motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of special events. Are there any?
Yes, we have one, Greg. This was just brought to us within the last week and a half. It's a women's march scheduled for January 21st, 2017. Its title is Women's March in Seneca Falls, 2017. For an explanation, I'm going to give it to Chief because he's kind of more involved with it.
So this is a march on the date stated. It's going to be marching from National Women's Rights Park to the Presbyterian Church on Cayuga Street. I've been in pretty much consistent contact with the organizers of this since they've started organizing it. And we've finally come to an agreement that they are going to stay on the sidewalks during this march. So we're going to take care of the intersections and helping pedestrian traffic and such, but we're not going to have to close down any state routes, which is a good thing. And I'm confident that everybody will be orderly and it'll act in a safe manner. They do not need insurance because it is a First Amendment expression, which is stated in the town permit.
I move to approve that special event. Discussion. I'd like to thank the chief and recreation directors, Jim, on moving on this real quickly. I know it was in short order. Things like that happen, but you got right on top of it and you moved it and you approved it. So that's thank you is in order for that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number D, the water sewer create laborers position. I'm going to move that to the committee level. We haven't had our new committee's assignments yet, so when those get set by next week, we'll have a committee meeting on that. The attendance of Association of Towns meetings, which will be the 2 new board members unless Nikki's notified otherwise, and then someone else will be appointed, and then Nikki, who else will be attending?
Deputy tax collector Linda.
Okay, so are you attending?
Yes.
Okay, so there'll be 5 people attending that board meeting. Yeah, but that's not in the budget. Yep.
All town attorney.
Oh, the town attorney will be attending, yeah, and that's,
Usually goes.
so those people will be attending, so I approve those people for attendance at the Association of Towns meeting in New York. I need a second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Membership renewal in the Cayuga Lake Watershed Network. Do you have anything on that, Pat?
Just that the Cayuga Lake Watershed Network, it's a not-for-profit organization. It is open to anybody. It's open to individuals. It's open to groups. It's open to municipalities. I was scanning this to see if there is a, Nikki, is there a membership fee? There you go.
Yeah.
So there's a membership level that is required. Yeah. But it's a group that's been very active in our Cayuga Lake watershed. The watershed itself pulls in many. It's fairly extensive on this side of the lake, on the opposite side, on the other side of the lake and south. It is a good way to keep in touch with what's going on, what's impacting the environment of the watershed of Cayuga Lake on that we are very much a part of. So it's a good way to keep in abreast of the other issues going on in the region.
I move to donate $100 for our membership renewal in the Cayuga Lake Watershed Network.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Under G, the highway, the purchase of truck, I'm going to move that to committee, and we'll discuss that at the committee meeting. H, carry over funds in H fund, pay remaining bills. Do you have anything on that, Pat?
No, I don't.
All right,
Just-
what's happening is the H fund, which is the fund for the building, the new municipal building.
Yes.
Sorry. What is happening on that is that we have some bills that are carried over into this year. However, our new budget eliminated that H fund. So what we have to do is we have to carry over that funds so that we can pay these bills.
Okay. I move to carry over funds in the H fund to this year and pay the remaining bills in that fund.
Second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Carry over funds in A1410.200, equipment for cabinet purchase.
Okay, that is my fund. I have money left over in the budget from last year in my equipment line item, which is that 1410-200. And I would like to purchase a lateral file cabinet to go under my windows in the new building. So in order to do that, I have to carry over that fund from last year so that I can pay for it out of that.
Okay. I move to carry over funds in A1410.200, equipment for cabinet purchase.
Second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. I'm going to skip to payment of the bills. I'm going to batch these under A, payment of the bills under General Fund, Miscellaneous Fund, Highway Fund, Recreation Fund, and Vince's Park Fund. I move to pay the bills.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I move to go into executive session for personnel reasons. What?
This NICEAG permit?
Oh, okay, before we do that, we'll do a NICEAG permit.
So can we just have a resolution to authorize the supervisor to execute the permit submitted by NICEAG?
Okay, I make that motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. I move to go into executive session for personnel reasons.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And for those interested, we'll probably be coming out with the decision. I move to come out of executive session at 10 to 9. It was approved unanimously.
I seconded it.
So we're back in regular session now, and the three issues we have to address are, I'd like to make a motion to approve Barton and Will Judas as our grant writing specialists for the year 2017.
Second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I would like to make a motion to approve Stoneboard Computing Solutions as our town of Seneca Falls IT support for the year 2017.
I second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Pat, we have one more.
Yes, I'd like to ask the board to, for a motion to, or a resolution here to authorize the supervisor to sign a letter from Boylan Code requesting that the town waive any conflict of interest related to the Cypress Creek Renewables application, and that would be waiving any conflict other than a direct conflict, and that's the town can also withdraw at any time if things got sticky.
I make that motion.
I second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Is there any other business to come before this board? I make the motion for the special order of the day to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.